What's up, everyone? So today we're going to get to work on the drift car. We plan to weld the diff, the subframe spacers in, slash subframe collars, and diff bushings. So we've got our collars here. These are the diff bushings. We're going to have a buddy weld one of our diffs. We'll probably, since we have a couple spares, we're going to take one over to his house, maybe have him do it. And I will also take another one to be plated, welded, so I know it's good by someone who knows what they're doing, because my buddy said he's never done one, but we can do it. So I've got plenty to spare. I think it'll be fun. And anyways, if it does hold, that's a plus. We also have a slave cylinder up here that you know from the last video that it crapped out, broke, and we have to replace it. So we're going to lift our drift car up and get to replacing it. Got an exity, or I don't even know how to pronounce it, however you say it. We've got a slave cylinder. This is just one we've had on the shelf, so we're going to go with it. Tools ready. Reservoir empty. Already got a bottle up here for my secondary bleeder, and that's the one we will bleed first. And before we loosen it all the way, we'll crack these loose so we can finger thread them off. I believe they are 14 mil. And I think our banjo bolt is as well. Yep. Out with the old and with the new. I'm gonna start filling it up from the top now that this is snug. Reservoir's full. Let's crack our bleeder. Turns out this one's actually 10 mil instead of 8. Usually you don't have to worry about these. A lot of times people switch over to the one line or one piece line. I actually can't imagine there's any bubbles coming out yet. We still got to fill up this entire pipe up to this point, and if you think about it, that's quite a bit of fluid. As you could probably tell by the bottle, we have pumped quite a bit of fluid through here. It's all still dark, dirty, and nasty. Bleeder. And now we're going to empty this. We're going to refill our reservoir because back almost empty. Good note is we can see the bottom now significantly more cleaned out than it was. It was very black, grimy, and nasty. We have bled the clutch and the secondary bleeder both to the point now when I bleed the slave cylinder, it has some resistance to it because I can tell that it's actually pumping fluid through the whole system now and it's not just compressing air. We're going to go bleed the top side, a couple more pumps. Since air rises, we're just going to verify that there is no air up in the upper system. And then after then, say we are all done. And I do this so I don't need someone else to bleed with me. Pretty much what I do is you put a hose submerged in a little bit of brake fluid. You pump the clutch by yourself so you don't need someone to hold the pedal while someone cracks it loose and lets the pressure out. Another problem. What's going on? Well, this really sucks, especially because I just pumped through about all of my brake fluid. I mean, I do have a last resort, but I don't want to have to do it. A bunch of like bumps in this hose. You can see them on the GoPro. I wiped it off. You can see it's dry. Squeeze it. Fluid comes out, kind of like a zit. So, safe to say, we have a bad hydraulic hose. That severely sucks. That means my other slave probably wasn't bad, so I can pull that out the trash. I don't know. I don't want to say I can't catch a break, because that's not the case. It just sucks. Now I got something else to go find, take off, whatever. Let's get it. So our decision from there is going to bring us to this. I've got a one-piece clutch line and a good rebuilt master cylinder. We're going to take this, we're going to take the line. I think, yeah, I've got it zip tied up and snake behind, so we're going to chop that out. We're going to try to put this in the other one. Now have what we were after. See if we can plant this in, and well, actually we got to remove the old master cylinder first. Got to see if we can find a way to actually route this down there. About 20 minutes later, and here's our old master cylinder. We've got our newer or replacement one in. Our line is ran up and out of the way, at least to where it's not going to come in contact with any heat to heat the fluid in the line. It just ran back here, and I've got it kind of pushed towards the cold side of the turbo right here. I'll probably zip tie it up here just to keep it from moving, and then maybe zip tie it to this water line here just to keep it from the hot side. Well, I don't think we're gonna get to everything else today like I anticipated, because just had a buddy come by and grab the hood, hatch, and a radiator from the sea, and he pulled up when I was in the midst of finishing out my clutch here to drop the car down, get it back on all fours. We can attack it tomorrow with some test drives. Gotta go help my dad load up some wood. Came by to pick up some firewood for this weekend for Memorial Day, so gonna get that all squared away. Sorry if you guys can't see very much. I cannot help myself. Looks nice, I must admit. Regardless of how much I dislike blue, that looks pretty cool. Oh no, my shop is no longer clean. What will I ever do? Just kidding. If you guys need any tan interior, hit me up. It's all for sale. On to the next day, and we're under the car. What we're gonna do today, while we have time, we've got our subframe collars. These are the aluminum bushing collar replacements. That way you don't have to pull your subframe and actually install solid bushings inside. Crack this loose. I just checked. All 4 of them are 17 millimeter. You do need 14 millimeter as well, because back here on this subframe side you have your subframe bracket with those 2 14 millimeter bolts. Looks like we're gonna need some leverage. That is tight. Some good news here. Crack this one loose because of leverage. Well, we're not having good luck. Yes, you see that correctly. We have totally rounded off our hard socket. That sucks. I feel like every time I try, I just get slapped in the face. At least just lately on this car. But it's whatever. We'll get over it. I think our next step, at least for what we can do today, we're gonna pull these rears off. We're gonna switch them with our black car, mainly because this one loses air all the time. Super frustrating and annoying having to air it up all the time. I think what we're gonna do with the rest of the day today, we're gonna switch out the rest of our fuel injectors to our AUS fuel injectors, and then we're going to switch the ECU/tune out, so that way we have a tune for the AUS injectors. Clean them off. We've got all of our injectors that need to be replaced, caps off. Got our new injectors here. Give them the old lube up with some oil, twist, and pop them right in. Seated. Rest of the caps are on. Gonna get it tightened up. Get our plenum slap back on, and maybe we have time to put the chip in it before we go. We may have to do that when we come back. Before we leave, we're gonna give this a test start just to ensure everything's working properly and that I hooked everything up. Uh-oh, someone's in trouble. They're coming for you. They're coming to get you. They're gonna get you, Tina. You've been a bad dog. They're gonna get you. They're gonna get you. So we got a miss. That probably has to do with the ejector connector we had to redo. Anyways, it's good enough for me for right now. Oh hey, what's up guys? So it's the next day. I managed to find a 1/2-inch drive socket, and we have cracked one loose that was giving us all the trouble. What I'm thinking is happening is the previous owner or someone put all this stuff on with an impact and just sent it. So I got to use the manpower to get it off. I think we got enough room. I do feel a little sketch having my legs down here. You just put your collar in. What you're going to do is you see the bolt up in there. You want to get this to fit around it. There is a collar inside of this. It's a sleeve for that mount, and sometimes it's a little hard to get in there. We're very close. I'm gonna put the GoPro down for this one. This is giving me a workout sitting up like this in the sit-up position. You see how it sits flush on there? All you'll do is take this cup, put this face down, and when you go to reinstall, you will lift up on subframe. You will push this up in its place, and when that bolt starts to pop out, which it will, as soon as we lift up on it, because it's right there, you can start to thread your nut on. Once you get a couple turns on, it'll be good to tighten and torque it on. Driver's side. Perfect. Now we've lifted our subframe up with the jack. Our top mount is flush with the body instead of there being that gap that there was at stock. I can't say for sure if we made the best decision over to get these brackets off. On both sides, we've had to break the bolt. The car came from Michigan. I expected nothing less when I bought this car. It's not even hooked up. It's crazy. I wonder if there's even a knee brake assembly on this thing. Since we're here, we're going to pry down on this so we can fit our collars in the top, and we will reinstall these brackets. We'll just bolt them in accordingly where they were. And they just won't be supported to the chassis, I guess. I also just noticed that this, I don't know, end link or sway bar bushing is totally non-existent. Main is to get this side in. I don't know how well it's going to pick up. There we go. On the process, we knocked all of this out. I don't even know. It's almost just like grease pudding or something. I don't know. Pretty disgusting. Not gonna worry about bolting the bottom out until we can manage to pry this side down enough to get our other collar in. This bottom one faces this way. Line your bolts, your two 14 mils. Since I broke mine, I can't. Just thread them in, and then you can tighten this up. There's something that I noticed while down here. If you look at that, I wouldn't say that that's how that's supposed to be. Make sure to tighten that up. Between that and this side missing a bushing, I'm thinking that maybe this is the little bit of squirreliness that we have with the rear end. Torque spec for your subframe mounts are 98 to 118. I'll be setting mine to 110. 100 should be just fine. That one's tight. All the cars outside idling, we're going to check this ECU to make sure this is the chip that we want for the AUS 750. That would be an AUS 750 if I was to ever see one. Crud was in the subframe bushing. It's almost like crap. We're about to go take her out on a spin. So far we're up to temp, 170 degrees or so, 40 psi of oil pressure, running a decent boost. So we'll see if we have a leak after we pulled the balance tube and stuff off. There's a chance it's slightly out of whack. That's solid. That's already a big step up from where we were on our last build. It's an instantaneous pull. I have not had one this responsive. It feels phenomenal. go to start the car again. It does rev high still, but it's not exactly falling on its face. When I punch the gas, it does still slightly hesitate. Catch you tomorrow. Down. Another obtained. It's the next day. So we have 4 missing total, at least 4 bad studs on our rear hubs on the drift car. I remembered I had this hub. I bought a set. One of them got lost in shipping, so this has kind of just been a spare. I'm going to take these 2 studs off after I take this off, and we will replace the broken ones on our drift car. Safe to say this lug nut has seen better days. We have totally annihilated it in the process. Here on the driver's side, this and this is the one that needs to come off. They both got thread damage. No way I may be able to start it, but it stops about instantly. Here on the driver's side, this and this is the one that needs to come off. They both got thread damage. No way I may be able to start it, but it stops about instantly. We're going to take off our brake caliper. We're going to pull it and fold it to the back. So I have this very badly worn lip on this rear rotor. What I did is I took a flathead screwdriver and I pushed on this pad to compress this piston slightly. I could get room to pull it off. Both them pads are still good. You can zip tie your brake up somewhere, or I'm just going to sit it right here. So definitely replacing this trashy boy. Voila. So as you see, you got quite a bit of room back in here, so you can hammer this out. You pull your brake shoe off, you'll pull the spring off, let this hang off, you will loosen this flathead. I think it's like an anchor for this brake shoe. Now that's off. Take our flathead, loosen this. Now we can drop down our brake shoe. If you're wanting to keep these, if they are good, like if you were putting extended wheel studs on or something, you can just take a bad lug nut or a nut, put them on top, so that way you do not damage the threads. Then literally, a matter of seconds, I think it may have been the second hit I hit with the mallet, it came right out. That's what you do to install one. To seat it, you'll put a couple washers on it. Like this. You will take one of your lug nuts, thread it on, and you will just keep tightening it until it pulls it through. And pull your lug nut off, pull all your washers off. Now you have a new stud. Looks like I just so happen to have a rear brand new Brembo rotor. We're gonna spray this one up with some brake cleaner, make sure none of that oil's still on there, and we'll go find the other one, start on our other side. This rotor is not nearly as bad as the other one. It's got plenty of width to it. It's not worn unevenly and whatnot, so I think we're going to be reusing this one. That would definitely explain why I do not have an e-brake. The cable's just right here. I literally have nothing to it, not even a shield. I have managed a way to set the door up for the time being. I really just want it to not catch when I open the door. Crunching the fender. I think the damage is already done. I managed to get this popped through, which this was totally folded over and folded back. I'm not sure what kind of damage sustained here, but as you can see, something's definitely happened. They tried to repair it. That's just Bondo. We didn't knock the stud out. We just put a nut on it and sent it. That ain't going nowhere. So as long as this Does not hit when I open the door. We are golden. Oh man. Perfect. Don't care about gaps. I'm just happy to have one less thing on the list. We just adjusted our brake pedal push rod. So now we have the least amount of play in our pedal. Hopefully this will help the spongy pedal feel. If not, I mean, I'm sure we may go ahead and bleed our brakes. We definitely will when we have to go and wire up our hydro. I happen to remember there's something that we need to change for sure in here. And that would be our steering wheel. Wait a second, that's not right. Huh, there we go. That's more like it. How appropriate. I'll have to go check my checklist, see what else we got to do today. I'm gonna make that post, see about we can find someone to weld our diff, and go from there. We just misplaced our GoPro for our first time in our life. That was a little unsettling. So that's rad. That being said, not gonna end the video yet, don't worry. I still plan to get some driving footage tomorrow for you guys, so we can kind of get an idea of how the car's feeling. What's going on, guys? So, just like I promised yesterday, we're about to take her out for a test drive and see maybe what else we can find out is wrong with this thing. Can't make this up. It's raining and the sun's out. I looked up like, what is all over my windshield? And it's rain. I'm incredibly freaking angry right now. Took the hatch off of this because I looked at the weather today, you know? Not supposed to have any rain because no rain for the past whole week. Literally clear, not even one mention at all throughout the day. We get this huge freaking wind gust that comes through here and trashes my freaking hatch. Whole glass shattered out the whole freaking thing. Now I have all this sitting here in the rain. Let's just take a quick moment to admire our lovely weather system. Another fat L. Like up to the speed limit at 55 and just make sure that everything sounds good and is working and functioning smoothly. I was 16 psi. Test on the car's suspension. It's a very rough road. It's got a bunch of these low spots that are worn out. So far all I'm really noticing is the play in the steering wheel, which I believe to be from that steering U-joint. So we will tackle that when we go to replace our rack, which we need to find out if our angle kit requires longer tie rods or if it's just plug and play. I feel like it'll have extended inner tie rods, but I just want to make sure I don't want to go messing with a bunch of the steering system for it to all be replaced or redone when we do get our angle kit. So who knows, we may save the angle kit for next year, but then again I really want to get that little bit of angle just to help myself, say starting, so I can keep an angle. least a 50-mile drive. Because if we can do that, I'll have full faith in this car that we can hop in it and start driving it to do stuff, to shake stuff down, and to do even more tests. Man, having a car that works properly is amazing. I think it's about time for the last rip before we go home. You guys are seeing that correctly. We're almost to 50 miles, so far everything's been running pretty good, and I'm super happy to say that. We can finally move forward with this car. I'm just trying to keep my foot out of it so I'm not flooring it, and it just eats it up. Now that our heart's full with all that we can take for now, we're gonna head back to the house. As you guys can see, we've made it back. My truck's smoking like a chimney. Just kidding, it's a fire. Let's check our trusty old catch can and see just how much fluid we have from a 50-mile drive. It's definitely feels a little heavy, and we've got a very good amount in there. Stinks like gas. Let's go throw it on the fire and see what it does. I know the truth. Very small amount of gas. Alright, you guys, so we're officially back at the house. The car is running great, driving great, doing everything I could ask it to do. So with that being said, I think we're going to end the video here. We have got an appointment scheduled so that way we can get our diff welded. So that's going to be in for next video. Also got a couple other things. Maybe we'll try to sort out our turn signal, but we are going to get that first real deal burnout next video. I don't care if I have to break something trying. So that being said, if you guys like the video, don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe down below. Stay tuned for our next one. Peace.